First thing on the agenda is like always, window of opportunity for anything that's not on the agenda. Anybody that would like to comment or got a question, now's the time to do that. Mr. Meyer.
Two things. August 22nd, you should have an invitation to lifespan dinner. We sure would like you to come. And our RDA is wrapping up our plans, so hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have that. If you have any suggestions you might want to make, I'd be sure to do that. But
Okay.
put that down on your agenda. We really would like for you all to come. I think you've got an invitation. You should have.
Where's it at, Steve?
300 Spring.
Yeah.
Broadwell
I
office.
think I actually got one last week.
I've never been in the office.
Okay.
John, you're traveling all the time, you know.
To come down there and check it out.
But we would sure like you to come.
Thank you. Tom, do you have something?
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. That's basically what I wanted to come and say, that I am back, and thank you all and the council.
Oh, I
for
said
the ones
lots.
that approved monies and moving
Yeah,
budgets
Riverdale,
around. So I'm part-time,
I'm not
half-time,
much
if you
fan.
would. Just started last Thursday, August 1st.
My
So
9 years.
That's
telling Adam, he said, I thought we got rid of you back when I retired from Floyd County office after 35 years, but then I saw this opportunity and thought that was perfect as part-time, and still have, I think, the enthusiasm, the knowledge, experience to do it. And so again, part-time working, I just have to give up a little more time spending with the grandkids or doing something around home. But anyway, wanted to just come reintroduce myself, and again, thank you for allowing this, position, half-time position.
Well, we're glad to have you back. Welcome back.
Just as a final comment, to say thank you all for holding to the fire, keeping the railroad fairgrounds, railroad track opening or crossing open, because it is needed in that area and all too. I know Mike worked awful hard on getting it.
That was harder than we thought.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it,
Thank
thanks. If you need anything from us.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna jump over the first one here. He's back, he's back, he's back. So we'll go ahead with the last spring. And, River Hills EDC, is anybody here from there? Maybe we'll jump out with it anyway.
No, they just sent the document.
They did?
You need to sign and notarize a subrecipient agreement to start our half with this recent Life Spring project. It's the old Futures building. So it's about the 5th page of the very top.
Yeah.
Mike actually has the document that Bob is gonna sign, you have the subrecipient
Oh,
that's
okay.
attached to it, so he could do either, Bob's got one as well, so you guys can do one of those. And I'll just reattach the
Yeah, just
attachment.
sign it and let me have it.
And this was signing saying what?
The county had to, you were the sponsor, organization for this grant, and this is just part of that grant process,
All right. Do I hear a motion to sign?
I'll make a motion to sign.
Second.
Yeah, I've got a second, John, I'll make it unanimous. Is this either one of these, or you got a?
just,
one,
he'll
okay.
sign that one, then Bob will notarize that copy, and I'll get that back.
Where it says buy. Amy can type the rest of it, I think. Generally,
All right. Next up is the Sheriff's Department update. Good afternoon, good evening, good evening, I guess now.
We'll be very quick tonight. We've only got a couple of things to talk about. One of them is was a grant that we're going to apply for. Two grants we're going to apply for, or the permission to apply for. One of them is the Operation Pullover Grants. We've participated in the past. We're going to try to get back into that. That's seat belts, stop signs, those types of things for the guys working overtime. Drunk driving, DUI stuff. So we, like I said, we've done it in the past. They opted out of it, I think, the last couple, 2 or 3 years, but we're going to try to get back into it. So we're going to try to see if you'll approve that.
It's strictly overtime.
It's overtime money, it's paid by.
Okay, is it, this is county match?
No.
So-
It's
Okay. yeah.
reimbursable.
Yeah, reimbursable. For an amount of $10,000?
Yes.
That's what they used to do it all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up until last year, our grant ran out in
Yeah,
September.
that,
good with it?
and we just
that
didn't-
10,000 comes back to the auditor, and then it goes back to general, is that correct?
I believe
There's a
it's,
fund set up for OPO.
So that'd
and then
be the
there's
sheriff's
claims
fund.
made against
Okay.
it for the
Yeah,
overtime.
yeah.
Your motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. I'll make it unanimous.
The second one that I've got here is another grant for a part-time violence against women investigator. It's a 75-25 grant. What they will do is they'll pay 75%, we pay 25% for 18 months. That's the, and we don't know right now if it's renewable after 18 months, but what we'll do is hire an investigator for child protective, help out for child protective cases and battered women cases. And then after that, after 18 months, they'd be told it's just an 18-month position, so they would, have to find something else to do.
We haven't started the application process yet to know all the ins and outs for your question. I wish I was better versed on it, but it's very, I talked to the grant manager before I came over here. It's similar to STOP, what Jacqueline Schaffner does. It's strictly for domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking cases, and I mean, they're really, but I get
You're right, but she knows more about it than I do on the actual parameters and everything. The only thing I know is.
So is this different than what
Yeah, it's
Jacqueline
different.
does?
It's a different grant. It's a different grant.
They just
And-
came out with this is a new one.
How long is it good for again?
18 months.
Okay, I'm just curious, after that, could you absorb one of your other officers into picking that up? If we had to labor her off or whoever you're gonna hire?
Well, what we would do is this, if we could.
I mean, if we're gonna have to hire somebody full-time in this 18 months.
I'm not, no, that would be one of the parameters that says, listen, this is just 18 months. If you can't do it, if you don't want to do it, then don't, because probably one of the requirements is
So we're not
going to be
gonna, we're not gonna make them a merit deputy.
No,
And then we're,
Well,
only if you
I'm
guys
not-
decide to.
I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not sure you wouldn't, they would automatically be married after a year.
Well, what we would do is this, I'm not sure that we can hire part-time, usually
Well,
it's
it's
part-time.
Well, we could go that route,
But
but
we
we
can hire
can
the
do full.
employee as a, you know what I'm saying, a part-time.
But
they don't have to
Trying
do
to
it.
sort out what happens, there's always these what-if questions. If for whatever reason, you hire somebody else after that, somebody leaves, you hire another officer, that person has seniority, and the last person ought to get
It
laid
happened
off, not
before,
this
yeah.
person, it can happen.
Mhm.
So,
That's
I like
only
what
if
you're doing, but we gotta get everything.
that's only if you make them a merit deputy, correct?
Well, they become merit after a year, whether you vote on it or not. When the sheriff votes on it, it's formality. They're
So,
merit
Well,
after a year.
and I think we got, I've had this question before, there, I don't disagree with that. And here's the way I would think it would work. If you are hard on a grant, then as long as that grant is in place, then yes. But once that grant's out of place, I don't know that you should automatically be a merit deputy after 1 year.
if you're hiring somebody through a grant, and that grant money is how they're being funded, then once that grant runs out, they're gone.
Well, we hired Rodney Rudder on a grant, and he wasn't on after
I
a
think
year.
that that's
We've
a
got
question I
Cox grants,
can
well,
We've done that,
investigate.
we've done that as
You're,
well.
I disagree with you guys. When Bob wants to check it
We'll
out,
find
that's great.
out. We'll find out.
Yeah, If they're a full-time deputy after a year, it don't matter if you're on a grant or watching.
We'll find out.
The
You're a
figures
police
on
officer.
here are based on a
1 year, you're
full-time
merit.
position, because when I talked to Jacqueline, and then I talked with the sheriff and Toby, to see if there was enough work for a part-time or full position, and she said, oh, full would work, but, so,
Yeah.
that's based on that. We have not even started the grant application. This is a request.
Yeah, just to try to get into it. So even if when we got down, we'll know all the parameters, at least just to give us the opportunity to be able to find out what's going on. It looks like it's something we don't want to do, honestly.
Well, I think it's good, I'm glad you're doing it, I just think we better get it done. Here to make cost, or we're gonna have something later,
Cost us
oops, come up
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
Well, it's 23,000.
Our part would be 23.
Well, that's matched. The only thing, what we've done with Jacqueline's grant is we use my salary and benefits, the chief deputy, and the chief detective, which is Joe Johnson. And because we're all her support staff, more or less, and we use 10% of our wages and benefits, and that's the match. So it's not costing anything else. With this one, we probably wouldn't use it, couldn't claim another 10%, because we're not going to be spending that much time each week for two people, I mean,
Yeah.
we've got a variety of duties. But we can also claim training, which is what we did with Jacqueline earlier, is to help with that. And also, office furniture for a new person, we can use that cost, and it can come out of a discretionary fund, and that's fine. So it's still not counting possibly. And also pension. The sheriff's pension's so large that, that's the one that we tinker with a little bit, since the riverboat money helps with that. So again, it's not really hurting your budgets so much. And that's what I put on the paper there, the match possibilities.
So, again, let me understand what I'm reading here too. Is this all they would do? Is that-
We don't know.
I mean,
That's
could
not
you use
really-
them for any
Yes,
day-to-day
Oh, I see what you-
operations?
Yeah,
yes, it's 100% for that.
for domestic violence, which won't be a problem, because we've actually got Jacqueline doing that now. She just overwhelmed.
Is she on the grant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but she's
Sexual
married-
assault.
but she's married too, so whether the grant goes away, she doesn't, so.
We'll find out about that, but I think that's,
Just something to line out.
That's what we did, if we get the permission, go ahead and try to seek it, we can find out, we can always turn it down if it turns out to be a negative.
and we're not
I'm
even
for
sure
it.
that could roll. If it's going to be available, I think it depends on the federal government if they're going to keep putting money into that. But it's also to be working with multidisciplinary, where they're going to work with the prosecutor's office and the courts and the victim service units, just like Jacqueline does now.
You're gonna be very busy.
But you're talking about a part-time slot,
Well, it could be either one, that's what I mean.
so initially, I thought we were talking about part-time.
Sure,
But-
yes,
but
it's
you-
whatever he wants to do.
But I guess if it's a full-time, then it kind of nulls my question, because if it's part-time, how many hours are we talking about part-time? So that's where I was
You
getting
would
at.
have to budget accordingly, that's what I mean.
Whatever you want in the budget, you see what I'm saying, the hours that want in the budget. So.
And then the
And
other
if they
part
say
is-
part-time, you know what I'm saying, if we keep them part-time, then they wouldn't be, like, it's not about the married 10 years and hours part-time.
But the other part of that is, like you said, if it's part-time, then how many people are gonna wanna do a part-time, job, so, and then whatever the wages would be, so, okay.
Well, listen, again, this for you to actually apply for a grant, and we'll know more down the road before it gets to it, so.
I mean, we have to receive it. too.
Sure, yeah, this is a Christmas wish list kind of, so, I'm okay with it.
I'm all for it.
Put a motion to
I'll
allow.
make a motion, giving the permission to
Second.
go after the grant.
I'll second.
And, it's unanimous.
Will you find out about the merit deal or
Yeah.
something?
That's the only thing that does concern me on it, that, I think we've got to,
Because if it's something that don't work out, we'll just squash it.
you need to, but that's what
The only other thing I think we have is we purchased a vehicle from Floyd County, used vehicle back on July. It's open, it was in July is when it was, so it's,
I'm going to try to do
There you go.
that budget ready for
That a used vehicle?
Yeah, it was a used one, yeah.
Already equipped and everything?
That's it, ready to
The Charger, yeah.
paid 9,000 in it for it. Still under warranty, I mean, it has 80,000, we're still under warranty for it. So. It's nice to have a river boat next to you, I guess. Yeah, right.
So all you need,
It says purchaser. Bottom, I'll just put Scott County Commissioners at the top.
yeah, there we go.
And we'll have,
It's confusing.
we can send you the resolution if you want to sign on that. We'll send over to Tammy. She will write that, yes, sign
You guys make a motion. Is
Yeah,
this
I'll make a motion.
different vehicle than last time?
Motion.
They'll approve
it. The purchase.
the purchase of that vehicle from Floyd County.
You haven't already done that?
Let's do,
This is, they'll send a resolution to me, so you guys will ratify that resolution, but this is a different purchase than a couple of months ago.
all right.
I'll make a motion.
John's made the motion, on the second.
Thought we already bought it.
Well, we need to do it on record. We need to do it on record.
It hasn't been
I'll
paid
second.
for
And
yet.
I will make it unanimous, because I just signed the title for it. How about that?
I think we need to make it official.
Anything else?
That's it. Is there anything you all need from us?
Doing a good job. I like what you do with your inmates on that welding program.
So you're gonna check with,
And big hats off too to Jill.
I guess
We're working together and getting this stuff done. She's providing us dump trucks, garbage, and all kinds of stuff like that, so appreciate that. And we're doing some more good.
Thank you, Gary. You've done a good job.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Anything,
All right.
know.
Highway update. How's Jill tonight?
Good, how are you?
Is, next off to school yet?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. You guys,
who's gonna be celebrating, who's gonna be crying?
He'll be crying. I'll be crying too, but anyway. That is all state projects that are gonna be going on, and it kind of tells you where it will affect the locations. And a timeline, those timelines can change as we know from the state, but this is a big update that got sent to me, and I just wanted to kind of forward it on to you guys. You can look at it on your own time. If you got any questions,
Good.
if you got any
I
questions,
can't read it.
if you got any questions, you can let me know.
I got a question about some of these state jobs. I mean, do we, when they bid those, or when they do it, do they, I know they give them a timeline, or hopefully they give them a timeline of when you start, when you finish. I mean, I know out on 203 by the quarry, there were days that there wasn't a person out there, and there were days that seemed like if they had a few more hours, they could have finished it. I mean, but
Yeah, I think they get a window, and the engineering companies are here, I think they get a window, and as long as they're done within that window, I mean, it's done. It's not that they're gonna finish it early.
it was almost ridiculous.
Jill, just for our information.
Yes.
No, that's
No,
just-
yeah, just, and I wasn't here at that meeting, but, with the viewing, I did get to see it, that you guys had talked about, ordinance for speed limit. Jerry left, didn't he? I called around to the surrounding counties, and just for your information, any county that touched us, we called, but only Jackson and Washington have speed limit ordinances in their county, lowering the speed limit. So again, that's for your own time information. But since you guys have talked about it at one of the commissioners' meetings, I wanted to show you what other counties
So
do.
do we have an ordinance now? or-
You do not have an ordinance in place. You did talk about it.
I thought we done, I thought we.
I have not seen the paper, and I have all the county ordinances, unless Tammy has one that she.
I thought we did an ordinance that it was 45 miles per hour, unless,
I think you
unless-
talked about it, but I don't think it ever became on paper.
And that would only be enforceable, it wouldn't be state police.
Correct.
So,
There was,
because there's a
I mean, there's,
hefty fee
aren't there some signs up that says 45?
I think
But
so.
those specific roads were separate ordinances.
Yeah.
They brought them in as just that road. So that's the ordinances we have. We don't have anything countywide, but I do agree it was talked about. I just have never seen it.
I remember us doing that.
Well, you might, and that's what I was gonna give him, so if somebody wants to tell him later,
I think
that's the
that,
other two counties.
I think we need to do it for the fact that now that we're paving, you get roads in better condition,
Yeah,
these
I-
people are flying on them.
Well, and, you know, what it boiled down to was the fact that, the state says it's 55 miles per hour on all county roads. Well, we know that county roads and state highways is, a whole lot different. And, you know, that's what it is on state highways,
But
55.
I think that's what Jerry talked about, wasn't it, at the last meeting,
Yeah,
that he couldn't
And there is
impose.
certain areas of Rogue County
Yeah,
where it
state
needs more,
statute.
but that would only be for Jared, that wouldn't
Right.
help state police or anybody else.
So correct me, I mean, if we make an ordinance to make it 45,
Mhm.
and county sheriff could arrest somebody or ticket somebody for 45, but a state police officer could say, you can run 55, I don't care.
Correct. That's my understanding for the state
So,
statute.
so I guess the other part of that
And keep
is,
in mind, we'd also have to pay to sign all those roads.
that's fine, but the other part of that is that if they go to the court up here,
Correct.
the
Could
court's,
they not fight it, John?
is the
They
court
can't
gonna
even-
fight
The
that?
courts up here can't even take the case, it would have to go through our attorney. They have to set up a system. But it's,
So what are these people?
Again, I mean, but now, I think that's one of the questions we had too, and, when you say it has to be signed, I was thinking that it did not have to be signed for an ordinance declaring 45 miles per hour countywide.
I think the state statute states that legally you have to show them the posted speed limit. John, you can,
well, whether we could or not, I'm not sure it's wise to make a blanket, because every road can be a little bit different.
Well, and that's,
And whether we have or not, I don't know.
I think, John, what we did was made I remember it, was a 45 mile per hour blanket across the county. And then, if there was places that need to be 35 or whatever, then that's where we said, okay, here's a housing development subdivision, whatever, that it needs to be lowered. Then that's what we was trying to sign.
But I would
And
have to-
saying that it was 35 miles per hour in this area.
right, but I
That's-
would have to provide that ordinance to the sheriff's department, and no one seems to.
And my guessing is that happened maybe between 12 and 14, because it's not happened since 15. We haven't had that, I know, since 15. So I can probably do some digging and see if we can come up with some. I know that you guys, I heard it, because I think it was even in the newspaper as part of the things that the commissioners discussed
Do
at
you
one
recall
point in
it,
time
Marty,
about a
at
speed
all?
limit change blanket for the county unless otherwise
I can
posted.
recall.
So, I don't know.
I
We
just-
need to see it.
Conversations, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, well,
So I just want to give you a sample.
and, you know, there is places that, yes,
Some more.
certainly need to be lowered than a blanket of 45, but again, 45 is a lot better than 55, and that's what we said on our county roads. You know, 45 was fast enough, and I think it is plenty fast enough.
We just need to follow through
Yeah.
paperwork and such. Also, real quick, I go to council Tuesday for the dump trucks. And I think I told John, but we got in with a program called Sourcewell that takes care of government entities so that you do not have to bid out. They do the bidding out for you. So,
And we just have to accept it or not.
correct, they do all the legality. They give you a number and everything. They do everything.
It's kind of like using SRI over here. They do work.
So, I'm gonna move forward Tuesday then with the council and on the agenda for the dump trucks.
Okay, let me ask you, what's the advantage?
Well, with one company, it raised it, but with the company we wanted, it lowered it.
Going through
The
that.
quote,
Now, did you have to,
I mean, $2,500. The
Do we
raise
have-
was
do
$4,500.
we have a fee or do they, we don't cost them nothing?
Correct, it
That's
costs
what-
the
yeah,
companies
that's
that
what They,
are in it,
yeah.
So it's a company there, it's a system that they run in.
yeah. And I didn't know about it, but I called some surrounding counties and asked about their latest bids, and 3 of them have been in it for a long time.
Will you need a contract?
I don't know. We meet with their representative next week before we'll sign anything on the trucks, but I wanted you to, because I'd seen John, but I wanted you to know that we didn't have to legally advertise it because of this company.
I like it, but I would talk to Bob first, make sure all the legalities.
But let me ask this, is it strictly just for municipalities, could it be used in police cars and that kind of thing?
What he is, that is a municipality.
I understand that, but I'm saying,
Yes,
Why?
I think they bid out everything, maybe a copy or whatever, anything. for-
anything,
Jerry could
Any
get on
company
it
that
if
would
he
join,
wanted to.
correct,
if you want to do that.
correct. Well, I can give you the paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, I think make people,
Yeah, 'cause I didn't know.
other people aware of it, where they use it, I don't know, but
Okay,
I think that would be smart to do that.
okay,
It's a lot of work.
yeah, a lot, and us money for putting it out,
And
okay.
it even gives a little bit more of a, makes it look like it's less, we're not picking something.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
They've already went through that
We
with
don't
that
have to
company.
go to our friends and pick the best.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
Any motion?
Oh, if you want to.
I'll make a motion to further proceed.
On the trucks?
Tracks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, motion made, second, move on. Unanimous.
You're up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've talked to, Chad and some of the guys, and there's a concern, I happen to agree that, these guys stay very active on their telephones. I get a lot of calls back and forth, not as we used to. They're doing this all on their own phones, and, I would like to at least give them a stipend similar to what we got. Personally, I'd rather have their own phones. I mean, us provide them a phone. But I think if we decide we think that's a good idea, she needs to get it in the budget quick, for next year. They could probably go ahead and use it for this year, but I would like to give them available, and she can go to council. I'm happy with the stipend, but that's how we do it. But somewhere down the road, maybe phone could be something we might want to look at. But they're using their own phones, I don't think they should have to. And not government business.
I guess my question, one of my questions would be is, when they're at work, are they on a radio or are they on a phone? If they're calling into the office, are they on a radio calling in or are they on office? And I guess my other question would be, how often do they use their personal phones for any kind of business?
But don't call me, I mean, not call me on the radio, call me on the phone. And if they use it at all, in my opinion, they need to compensate for it. But I don't know about the radio phones, you know.
I mean, we do radio.
But the thing about being compensated is that, most plans now are universal plan, unlimited plans. I mean, whether I call them or you call them or some telemarketer calls them, they're not being charged for that call, so,
But what if they don't have a phone? We can.
Well, if you don't have a phone,
What if, we can what if this, I know we can. I suppose we can make them have a phone. We can say that about us, why are we getting $50?
Well, that brings it up a good point. I truly don't, I'm gonna suggest myself that goes away. Just because I do, I think that,
Why you don't?
I have an unlimited, talk. Again, it wasn't that way years ago, but now most plans are universal, that you have unlimited talk time. And, at that point, I'm good with that. I think it should probably go away, just to be honest with you.
And I have to disagree. I think I spend a ton of time on the phone talking to people, and I don't know why I need to use my own phone for that. And I also feel the same way for these guys that are road bosses.
but if you're on your personal phone, I mean, do you want to, we're talking about commissioner's phones now. I mean, and I don't have a problem giving up the stipend either, because I have unlimited messages, text messages, and people call me, and whether, you know, that is a big deal or not, it's not to me, because my bill's gonna come the same as it always does, so, I think if you think you're gonna have two phones and carry two on each ear, I mean, you're gonna use your own phone, I mean, just like you're driving your own car. I mean, if I go out and look at a road, or I go out and look at something, I'm charging the county my mileage to drive out there and look at something, so I'd almost be with Bob, I'd go the other way and say, you know what, let's do away with ours.
In this day and age, I mean, again, I think back when they used to have just so many minutes and many plans, that was one thing, but with the unlimited minutes and that kind of stuff, I don't know if, I mean, I'm fine with it, but, again, I don't want anybody, and I don't know what they've got. That, I guess that'd be what we need to talk to them about, but the radio is available, again, in the vehicles, correct? They all have radios in the vehicle.
Yeah, they can't be on their, yeah, I mean, they legally, DOT can't be on their phone
While they're driving.
driving anyway.
Yes, while they're driving legally,
Yeah.
okay.
That's a $10,000 fine.
And I guess my big question is here is on it, and I'm, you know, I understand that they do talk on the phone, and we do need to get a hold of them, but, you know, at what point do you, you know, at what point do you say, okay, these get phones and these don't get phones? I mean, I don't know that. I mean,
Well, as me, I don't call the other people, I just do I talk to, but that's,
The person that's on call, do they have a phone or they have a radio?
They have a handheld, but they have a phone. I mean, unfortunately, it's the generation that you're not gonna get up off your tail and go to the radio if you can sit there and go,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that's
So
just
it's
the
a-
generational thing. But, I mean, they could ask you to not contact them on their phone and they still have a way to get contacted. So, I don't know if that's, you know, something, maybe if they don't get phones, if they wanna say, don't use my county
All the
phone.
deputies have phones, don't
Yeah, I guess, I don't
they?
know.
Yeah.
I think
I
they,
don't know if that's any different.
well, I asked that question, and I was told that the reason they have them is because there's some things that they can't say on the radio. Now, you would know that better than me,
I think sometimes there's things I wouldn't want to say on the radio too,
so,
the highway department,
oh, well, we don't say anything,
but you never know.
but, well, we're licensed. We're not supposed, I don't know if the police are, but we're FCC, we're not allowed to be
They
saying
are too.
cuss words and
Yeah.
stuff that we shouldn't say,
They are too.
Yeah.
so, I don't know. That's
Well,
your own.
I don't know, I think that's probably paid for, I'm guessing on the commissary anyway, every year. He does.
Yeah.
I don't-
Tammy, how many county phones do you have? Or do we have a bunch of county phones, or we not? I thought we got away from that because of the
We did,
use.
because everybody would have to bring us an itemized bill, their own personal cell phone bills, and we would have to go highlight
Yeah.
call by call by call, so then they switched to the stipend, that's my understanding, because this all happened before I was
Prior.
on there. And then some elected officials have phone stipends, some don't. I personally don't get one, and I'm constantly looking at emails, phone calls, and my phone, all
I
day.
call them.
Yes, we call, and I don't, it doesn't bother me, and quite frankly, I have suggested to council, and I may make some people who get stipends upset, but that you guys need to start backing off of that, because $25 is plenty to supplement somebody's bill for what they might be used a month, when you can buy a $50 a month plan. And I mean, to me, that's my way of weaning them off, and the next year don't even fund them. I mean, that would be my personal thought. and
But how
choice.
many phones, do you know how many phones that we're paying for?
Not off the top of my head, but I do
Is it
know
more than 10?
it is.
Yes,
Yes, oh, yes.
Less than 30?
yes.
Maybe less than 30, more than 10. So we've got a pretty good budget, you know, in each department's budget for those stipends.
Are in fact the police paid out of commissary or they paid out of, do you
You know, I
know?
really don't know how they may even be department phones, I'm not for sure.
Yeah,
But-
they are.
I mean, the flip of that,
Then that would be part of
It
your
is,
budget.
said it is.
I mean, the flip of that is that if you're a department head and the courthouse is closed, I mean, what else, who's calling you?
Yes.
So, unless it's an emergency, I mean, if you can't take an emergency call, then own business.
And a lot of times people look at, are you 24/7 or are you not, you know, and we've got to contact you after hours, well, then the only way usually is by phone. So that's why I think the commissioners especially, you know, they were put on that list because they could be contacted any time during the day. So again, that's some criteria I think at one point in time they used. But most plans, you know, you're not paying around $55 a month for,
Period.
yeah.
So you're on the council's, you're their secretary as well, I mean, have they looked at possibly eliminating that?
I've suggested it to him a few times, but I think we would have to probably take it a step further and really say, hey, look, at budget time this time around, I think that's a question I'm gonna pose to him. Because after you guys have made this play and that, you know, that's something, a policy that we should look at, because I had questions in regards to, whether it's income or not.
What would be like the uniforms?
Exactly. And we're paying a stipend through payables.
Alright,
So,
I'm gonna say this, I think right at this point, I don't mind, I think we need to look at that and see what is gonna happen, but at this, I don't care if you wanna put it back on, but if I vote tonight, I have to vote no against that, because I can't, again, I think it all should go away. But I think I want some more information from you on what's the cost and what the council maybe is gonna look at there.
and I think one of the things probably I should do then, based on our conversation tonight, is just to present this to council, is to actually run a list with the departments and what we're spending on phones, and to make sure that they have a copy of that at budget adoption beginning day, and let them put that as part of their consideration.
But nobody has a company phone, right? They have their own phone to get stipend.
They get a stipend.
We pay stipends to anybody that I know of, I don't know about the sheriff's
The
department.
sheriff's
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean,
But,
beyond, yeah.
But, no, most everybody, as far as I'm aware, everybody is a stipend.
it's through their budget or it's through?
It might be through commissary.
I would guess it, but I don't know.
Real quick too, just Jerry shouting this out, he has a crew now that they've done twice, they're going around, supposedly gonna have a 10-man crew at some point, helping Sweetie get some things, trash pickup, and I apologize, I don't know the gentleman's name, it's over, but he's done a really good job, used to be with DOT, no, it's not here. But he's done great, they've done it twice, and we went out and got the trash afterwards, and so he asked for another list of roads today, so I think it's really going to be good.
Good, sounds good, sounds good.
I hear a lot of good on the road too.
We actually got the paver extension today.
I'm gonna look at that tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. So it's gonna
Do one pull.
22.
Good.
So how's my situation out there?
We're okay for going next week. And we're good to go.
Is, I was gonna ask you about that, is that Bailey Road you're talking about?
No.
Is Bailey Road gonna be open? When?
On the culvert.
Tuesday.
I thought it was gonna be open this week. I
Well,
thought.
then maybe it's Friday. What is Friday's day?
The 9th.
Maybe Friday. We have a little trouble getting the time if I don't get it.
When will you know about the grant?
Not till November.
When, I mean, when do you have to have me in?
Oh, they're in.
They're in,
Yeah, it's done. Just keep your fingers crossed.
You do good on that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Health Department update. How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. We have a grant application request and a contract.
Yeah,
request.
so we'll talk about the contract first, because basically what you decide about it decides if you get the grant or not. So I sent this to Bob, and it's, so the state has some money from CDC for a Cityness Readiness Initiative. Basically, if your county is close enough to a big city like Cincinnati, Louisville, then you're considered part of the CRI counties, so Scott County is considered part of those. Anyways, the state got some money from the CDC to hire a regional coordinator, but they want one of the local health departments who are in the CRI district to be the fiscal agent. So they would give us 75,000 to fund a contracted position every year, renewable up to 5 years, for this regional position. So basically, this contract would be for the CRI regional coordinator, the contracted position.
So this coordinator for the regional, so at that point, when you say regional, it has a certain number of counties?
Yeah,
Or what?
so it's like the CRI counties, like Floyd, Clark, I want to say Washington, and then there's a couple over by Cincinnati, Johnson, Shelby. Okay.
So you're gonna be
It just
like,
says Louisville and Cincinnati area.
Okay.
you'll be like a regional,
I will not be.
so somebody will be able to take
Somebody
care
will
of
be,
all
her name-
finances?
So it'll just be, the state will give us the $75,000, and then in here it has the contracted amount, so like divide that by 12 months, which is like 62 something, I think, a month, 62.50 a month.
Is it-
And then it doesn't, like, she just has to, it's like deliverable based. So the state gives us like all the templates, all the deliverables that they have to have, which are like the last 2 pages of your grant there. The specific duties, kind of outline what their responsibilities are.
So we're not over anybody, we're not gonna be over this person, they're gonna be extracted from the state. We're just facilitating the money.
Right, so basically at the
Or pass
end,
through.
yeah, so at the end of the year, it's June 30th, that's their fiscal year. If they haven't met these deliverables, or their duties, then basically they'll just say, we're not gonna fund the position again. So then we just wouldn't be.
So it's not costing us anything.
No, and actually, because the year actually started on July 1st, and it really, this probably won't start till September 1st, because after if I get your guys' approval, then I gotta go to council. We can ask for like a little bit of like admin money.
Is she gonna need an office space?
Nope, work from home is in here. We might supply her with like some office supplies, but we get a preparedness grant. Like Patty is our CRI coordinator for our health department. And so she has like office supplies in her grant, so we just buy her
Will this be something you have to come back every year for?
Yes. Yeah, so the expiration of this start date is left blank. I expect September 1st and then June 30th of 2020 is the end date for
If
this.
we're not over, who is over?
So then it would be left up to another health department to pick it up. And if nobody picks
No, I mean,
it
who's her boss?
up, state health department, Megan Lytle. I guess she doesn't have a boss, but she's the contracted position. And if she doesn't meet the deliverables in her contract, they have the right to say, we're not gonna renew that
Okay.
funding for next year. And then we would not do this contract.
And the benefit to us to do this is,
Well, like I said, this year we'll get a little bit of like admin money, which means like basically my time to submit 4 invoices a year.
okay.
Because I'll have to submit an invoice to the state because it is technically reimbursable. So it's just like an Excel sheet. So,
Is that, you said 75,000
mhm.
a year?
Yeah, so she'll be in charge of like all her mileage. We will not pay mileage. We won't pay like a cell phone stipend. We won't do any of the benefits, any insurance. So she'll have to pay like her own taxes from that. So it's just like,
That's her salary.
that's her contracted salary.
So,
But then she
and
will be
again, we
responsible.
can get for us doing this and like John, you're gonna be able to get, what, did I understand you $6,000 a month?
No, that's
That's what
her rate of pay, $62.50
That's
a
what
month.
she get. 12, she said.
So what kind of monies are we going to get?
So the 75,000 is for 12 months,
Yeah.
but we're starting in September.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if math on that, I didn't do that, but
Yeah.
75, yeah, so you got July and August, so basically $13,000 or $12,000 that we could ask for and say, okay, I would like 5,000 of that to go towards our admin costs of us having to come to this meeting tonight and do invoices on the Excel sheet that we have to send to the state so we can get reimbursed for the money, and then that's also a burden on, the auditor, so like, that's our admin cost. Does that make sense?
It's a user fee.
Yeah.
So you'll be back in January again for
June, like,
Or next
June
year.
of next year. Because because they have.
So on a normal year, what kind of figure?
It'll always be 75,000. So
I
like
understand.
next
I understand
year,
that, but what are you, is the health department going to pull back? For-
no, I mean,
Nothing.
maybe this year a little bit of admin, but next year, nothing. It would just be a pass through. But this year, they're saying like the state told us that there's gonna be extra money in the pot, because they wanna get rid of all the 75,000.
I see what you're saying, okay.
Here's the other
But
thing.
next
Yeah,
year,
I see,
And-
okay.
It does not, I would not think it does not hurt our health department to be doing something good for the state of Indiana and their health department.
Yeah, true,
so they were very appreciative that we,
yeah.
Yeah, we should take advantage of those opportunities, I think.
I'll make
I
a
see what
motion.
you're saying.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mike, second by John, and I'll make that unanimous, so, that, again, now the easy
so
part.
this is just the approval of the $75,000.
You probably answered this, Andrew. You hardly person.
So the CRI counties, they've already agreed on a person, which is what the state wanted.
Okay.
So they've kind of had like I don't want to say hiring. She was contracted through, she was like lower level, and so she's done the CRI and preparedness stuff for years and
Okay.
years, and so they just asked her if she would be interested. She had yes, all the counties were on board. Now they're just looking for a fiscal agent. So the person's already in there, and she's like familiar with all the preparedness stuff. Yeah, so this would just be the grant approving the 75,000. I think you have to have two sets, because that was for the contract with the union.
Alright.
That's where it was.
Contract, now that I hear a motion for the grant for 75,000,
I make a motion.
Second.
unanimous.
All right, and then I would like to ask for an approval on the billboards contract. So we got a grant again. It's called the Overdose Response Project. So basically it's promoting like Narcan, naloxone, overdose. So these would be obviously the 3 billboards that we would do, but they would obviously be, you know, our health department information on there and not whatever other county that is. So yeah, it would be 3 of those for 1 year, for $10,000.
This is a grant,
Yes, great.
fully paid, no matches.
No, you guys have already approved the grant, this is just you approving the contract to do the billboards. And it looks
Where's
like
that going? How many again, how many?
3 of them, 2 of them are gonna be on the 356. We have 2 billboards there right now that talk about immunizations, one's on the south, one's on the outside, 31. That's where 2 of them, and then the other one is on 56 and South Lake Road.
Okay.
Okay. Motion, allow,
Motion made.
second?
Second.
No.
I will have you sign an initial on the yellow spaces there. And then, just real quick, I know the sheriff has been talking to you guys about the HIV medicine stuff, costs of that possibly. So, I was in a meeting today with Beth Keeney from Life Springs. Do you remember her, Rob, from the Outbreak Short Form?
Yeah, yeah.
So she is gonna reach out to Gilead, which Gilead is a drug company that makes a lot of the HIV and HIV prevention medications, about possibly doing a pilot program in our jail, and the sheriff's on board with this, about providing medication for people who don't have insurance or don't qualify for insurance, while they're incarcerated. So hopefully that might be an alternative to not paying for
So
medication, once that state insurance runs out.
So the state insurance runs out at 180 days, and this is only for prisoners that hasn't been sentenced yet, or if they are?
I don't know what the logistics of it look like, but it would be for just incarcerated inmates at the county jail level. I mean, obviously they're not sentenced, because I
Some
think,
of
well,
them serve their sentence there.
yeah,
I think
so,
there's some lawsuits coming on this, not on us, but there's some other states looking at the possibility that these people are over there and not found guilty, and they're being punished for this. So it's getting in the courts, but it's not now.
Yeah. Well, there's some lawsuits with, just some kind of,
Right.
but there's some lawsuits with the, drug companies because you can buy these drugs that cost us $4,500 for like $200 over in China. So there's these drug companies are kind of like wanting, we think they're gonna wanna try to do something where like they give back, that's just, you know what I mean? So we think it'll kind of be, they'll be on board with it pretty easily.
The naloxone must be working from what I've been reading nationwide. It's claiming the opiate deaths are going
Yeah, so
down.
we've given out, we received 1,000 doses, which we give to law enforcement, sheriff, posse, volunteer fire departments. Obviously, we give it out to layperson and people in our insurance exchange program. But we've given out 1,000 doses since February. So, and then we get another 1,000 doses next week.
I don't know, today I read in the paper, it's claiming nationwide it's working.
Yeah. But yeah, so just an update on the pilot program. I'm sure we'll come to you guys in information, but we just initially are getting into that, because I know that's, like I said, the sheriff's been talking about it. It's a concern because it's a
My
lot.
opinion, I said before, is that if somebody's over there 180 days, they either need to be sentenced or moved on, or if we're treating somebody for $4,500 a month, I'd send them home.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we don't need that expense. So,
If they're there 180 days and they lose, and then they turn loose, at that point, do anybody know how long it takes for their insurance to reinstate to where they can get the medication?
No, you leave it.
I don't either.
Usually,
I think you can do it pretty quick or
yeah, it's usually
back
pretty
dated.
quick. You just call.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
So it's not like they have to go back through the process of
Do we call or they have to call?
So if we are, usually like our care coordination staff will call on their behalf and tell them, because, you don't want them billing that other insurance if they qualify for the Medicaid once they're released, because that's gonna.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
guys.
you okay?
Doing good?
Good deal.
TIF plan amendment update, property for the Jennings Fire Station. We got the,
Okay, that's, I sent that to you by mistake, I had that on our agenda, but you, our agenda doesn't have, the main doesn't have it on, but Bob
I
has
can
some
do
for
that
you.
real quick.
okay.
If you choose to do it, I've sent you all, I think you all saw the restriction language on the deed that I proposed to send to the Jennings Township Volunteer Fire Department. If you want to go ahead and execute this deed, that's fine. We can do that. And the TIF district, the redevelopment commission met this week. So we're ready to go ahead and do this and move forward if that's what you choose to do.
So are you good with the restrictions? I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second.
All three of us?
Yeah. I will mention something else to you. Without much more explanation, but to tell you that the election board was, I'm not going to get into more detail on this, but they were sued yesterday, our election board, so county insurance has been notified.
Did you notarize that too?
I'm sorry?
You'll have to notarize that too. Yes,
All right, consideration of the July monthly claims.
and put a book there.
Believe it or not, I looked through every one of those. I want to make a motion to accept them.
I'll say.
Yeah. Ouch. I'll make it unanimous. What is the EPO strategy?
You have a copy of the claim, that's for our maintenance fee for the county website. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
the early August due dates, and it wasn't in this batch there.
Okay.
Okay, so.
This is an amount of $1,800, again, it's for the county website, September 19 to August 2020, so it's for the year.
I'll make a motion to accept it. So,
Let's,
You'll be signing.
down below you.
That's fine.
All right, next up is the payroll docket ratifications, and this is, again, for state board of accounts, and, what must, again, when was the exit on that?
The exit interview, and I'm going to make your invitation here is, August the 14th at 1 to 1 or 1:30. I'll email you guys, a follow-up on that. But state board of accounts will be doing exit interviews
That's a week from this Wednesday, right? I mean Thursday.
Thursday.
can we all attend or just?
You're all invited. The minimum requirement is me and
Well, it doesn't matter.
one
Does that make it
commissioner,
a
one
meeting?
council president, so to speak, but all are invited. So, yes.
Does that make it a county commissioner meeting when we do
No,
that?
this is exempt from state statute for that
So when
purpose.
is it?
I will email you, but it's August the 14th, afternoon of August the 14th. It's either 1 or 1:30, I can't remember. But I'll email you.
I think we're gonna try to get it
It's
this
actually
hour.
wrong.
Yes, because of the,
Yeah.
yes, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is wrong.
Well,
John ought to be advised.
I bet that came out of, Deb printed hers and she had different ones and traded it. And there's actually 2 in there, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
Did I get noted?
I bet Deb printed
So
one
that's
on
wrong
for me.
pages.
I bet this one's right, unless they've just not changed it.
Yeah.
There's so many different forms.
Get the most, Bob trying to take $50 away from me.
See, I know, it's just not working out in my favor tonight.
I just feel like that's kind of played it out.
Mike, you didn't sign it.
I hadn't seen that.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
I didn't remind you.
So
guys
we're
there
good on
too.
the payroll docket, that ratification,
I don't think anybody, did we vote on that?
Made a motion.
Mike, second, unanimous. And, so yeah, it's legal. How about the 2020 budget form 144 acknowledged?
I know you guys want to spend the rest of your evening looking at these, but for state statute, I just have to present these to you and you can acknowledge them by consensus that they were presented to you, because before the council meets for budget, all the salary considerations, typically they tell everybody to write in a 3% increase. That doesn't mean you get it, it's just proposed, we advertise high, but you just have to acknowledge by state statute that, I mean, that requirement that you've,
I
they've
acknowledge
been
it.
presented to you in a meeting for the 2020 budget, so.
So by consensus, do we all acknowledge that?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can move on here then, we do acknowledge that. That brings us to the end of our agenda though, doesn't it? That wasn't bad. Anything on your part? Anything on your part?
Yeah, wait a minute. On the 200-year, I guess anniversary next year of Scott County, are we, I know there's a board or a committee or some place out there, but I mean, are we doing anything on our end as far as to acknowledge the 200 years?
I don't think we've done anything quite yet as far as on our end. I think there is a committee in place to help me, Marty, you know about that.
Come forward.
Yeah, let everybody
Come
look at it.
forward and speak, Greg Warren.
I'll be glad to tell you anything I know.
I guarantee it.
Just the facts.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
sorry, Friday, back.
Tammy has a master plan for the English statue and trying to improve that area around there. We have not obtained any bids or, it's not gotten to that. That is one plan. There, yeah. There are several plans taking shape through the Scott County Museum. Mike Chesser is chairing that committee, and I believe we have a meeting, and it might be the 22nd, but I'm not sure. Once we have that meeting, I'll try to write you up a summary of the projects that are being suggested, because they're just coming everywhere, you know, like, there's one group that wants to develop what they're calling a brochure, but to me, it's more like a newsletter type thing, and it just points out various interesting people, like the Bogards, or,
Some history on it.
yeah, some history or some unusual, and like all those 2016 presentations the museum made to you guys in 2016. I've turned those all over to Mary Beth Comer, who's kind of chairing that little group. But we've got the quilters doing a quilt that will be auctioned off in 2020. We've just got several different projects, and you know, it's coming to, we've got to get things started, organized a lot better to determine if we're actually going to do this.
Is there a specific date?
February 1st is the date that everything was signed in Indianapolis that made us a county. And there will be a program here, and invitations have already been sent to the governor's office and other elected officials on the state and national level. And I don't know where that is, what's going on with that yet, but once I get that information, I'll be more than happy to let you know.
A meeting here with Depot.
Sure it will, John. I'm not sure yet,
Okay.
but I
That's where
can,
they usually are, but I
yeah,
don't laugh.
but I could, yeah. Some people get Main Street mixed up with the Bicentennial Group, and so I know Main Street's got a meeting at the end of August, and I believe Bicentennial. We were trying to get through all the festival season because it was just kind of crazy because everybody was running around the festivals. So as soon as I get an idea of what's going on, I'll provide you guys with a synopsis.
And to add one more thing to some of the ideas that Marty and I pitched around, and we have a lot of people that, and I know this isn't a very exciting project, but they want a paper map of the county. They like the big paper fold-out maps because they can write on it, pinpoint, do their genealogy searches, look for all the cemetery, you know. They love that, and so Adrienne Smallwood from Visitors Commission researched on her own, and we did some checking with our GIS map company. And we've had different people call this office. We're out of paper maps. We can't give them. They're $9 a piece if we print them. So we can't give away $9 maps. But we've thought about getting sponsorships. Anybody that wants to have sponsor, advertise on the back, and have a commemorative bicentennial map, which we thought that might be kind of really nice. And we could see who kind of in business at that time.
You'll never be
And-
lost again.
Yes.
I do that in my business.
Yes.
And I cannot think who it's with, but in fact, I can bring, I have probably, I know I have at least 25 of them at home right now that I usually pass out, but you know, if you guys want some here and want some down at the museum, you're welcome to. But that's exactly what they do. They sell ads on there through businesses, and at that point you could.
Is the company's name on that?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. If not, I can look back through my records and find out who went with it.
Okay.
That thing. And this one here is actually, I think this one here is actually Scott and Jennings County, and maybe, I didn't even have part of Jefferson on there, so I mean, Tri-County area.
Okay.
And, but I've got some, I'll probably remember to do that further.
Okay.
That's a good idea to do that. A lot of people do want to.
Yeah, we found some, Adrian found some old paper maps, and we took some to the museum. Now, we're out, you guys are out. I don't know, I think I've got one in my car. I'd be glad to sell.
You lost.
For money.
For $11. You can make $2.
Oh, no, it's more than that.
It's more than that. But no, and they're very interested in collaborating with us on that because people want paper mats. And we just can't afford them. We can't put them on our own.
Seems to me, and I don't know, I'm going back a ways here, so bear with me. But I think, maybe it was 50 years ago, time flies. But
That's 150.
yeah, then they have they had the thing here on the courthouse lawn, and they had, you know, the people basically, yeah, they dressed in the time frame of then, and I mean, that was, I remember that as a kid, and they was,
Memorable.
yeah, memorable. I was old enough to remember though. But anyway, that was a good time, it was a good time, and, but February the 1st wouldn't be a good time to do that.
I don't think so.
So, you know. that
It's
was-
unfortunate
Yeah.
that, you know, we became.
But I think you could maybe plan some kind of, I would think some kind of festival or something on the square, you know, on the courthouse lawn, in the warmer months, or,
Yeah.
you know, at some point.
We are suggesting to all the festivals that are being held here, the organizers, that they include some sort of concept or, you know, bring in 2020 somehow. You know, it doesn't be a pep parade, we don't care, you know, just 2020. Think about it. So,
Yeah, something to think about.
Thanks for the info.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In the words of Elvis, thank you very much. Okay, did you have anything? I think I done asked you, right? Just a couple things to make, I guess we're known here. First of all, we did remove some chairs out of the court room upstairs. Them things was removed. And at that point, Louis gonna take them to the dump. I think the VFW, not the VFW, was it the VFW or the American Legion? They have asked for them. I certainly don't have a problem with it. If they can use them and they think they can clean them and do what they want, so we've, if you're all right, we'll get them to them. Okay.
Anything? Motion
I think that we're gonna throw them in the dump. I don't think we did by consensus. I don't think we need anything there. I think it's okay. The only other thing is, and Bob will remember this, I'm sure, the Ord Springs Community Schoolhouse, there was a board, and that board kind of fell apart. That board is reorganizing, and they will have a nonprofit status. And at that point, I would like to probably talk with Jerry about maybe getting some people to go out and help remove the vines. And there was a very generous donation made, as long as this board was in place, that there would be monies to keep that as a community center. And that board is going to be reorganized in the very near future, and the status be, and that's going to be back to what it was the lady intended it to be. So just to let you know. You know, them old schoolhouses is a thing that there's few and far between here in this community. And I think, you know, on the, again, the 200 years of Scott County, I think that would be a good thing to do there too, you know, to get it back up into the shape that it was, and the shape that for a community center, and it could be used out there. So anyway, just to make you aware of that, nothing that we have to act on or anything like that, but I just want to make you aware that what's going to take place in the very near future. So, good. All right, at that point, if nobody else got anything, I'll entertain a motion. Second.